What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? What it do? This is your brother Bishop of Bishop's on TV, and man, I gotta talk about the ratchets this time. I gotta talk about the ratchets. You know who you are. You know who I'm talking about. You know, Marcus Garvey once said, not every black person needs to go to Africa. Because if you ain't act right in America, or you wasn't good in America, what good are you in Africa? And we see that even more clear now with the twerking for the ancestors, thotty-oddies. These thotty-oddy yamps, I'm gonna call them yamps, yampers, trampers. These scallywags took they stinking asses over to Ghana and thought it was a good idea to twerk for the ancestors at the Elmina slave dungeon. This was one of the places that our ancestors suffered greatly from. You know, some people, a lot of people, say when they go there, when they go visit these slave dungeons, that it changes their lives. It does something for them or to them. It does something to them that can't be explained. You know, the trauma that the descendants of enslaved Africans feel while going to these places. I mean, it's something you can't explain. There's even studies that suggest that we carry trauma in our DNA. So you can only imagine what the descendants of enslaved Africans, especially those who go back to these slave dungeons, you can imagine what kind of trauma they feel. Yet, we got some degenerate motherfuckers in our lineage. We got some degenerate Negroes in our community, because evidently some of these niggas, they just don't take anything seriously. And I'm talking about these, I have a hard time calling them women, but these yamps, you can't, these are the type of Negroes that just don't take nothing serious. They don't take nothing serious. Like, what goes on in your mind when you think, I just went through these slave dungeons and heard about all the horrific things like sexual exploitation, the breaking up of families, stripping our ancestors of their humanity. I've witnessed, I've heard all these traumatizing, unimaginable, horrific things happen to a human being. And what can I do to honor my ancestors? I can just objectify my body and twerk for the ancestors. Because you ain't got a brain, you ain't got the mind, you ain't got the humanity. You ain't worth shit but your ass. And shit comes out your ass, so you full of shit. And I gotta call it for what I see, because if that's all you have to offer, don't get me wrong, you're worth the jack off. That's good for something, I guess. You're worth the jack off. But these are the type of women I'm just sorry, you just knock them off and you don't marry them. You knock them off and that's it. That's all they can offer. Go fed on the head and twerk on the D. That's all you're good for. You ain't good for nothing else. I'm not applauding you because you went to Africa. Because you turned Africa into Atlanta and Miami. Leave that shit at Atlanta and Miami. Leave that shit there. This ain't spirit, y'all. Alright? I'm surprised they didn't have bonnets on. I'm surprised you didn't have bonnets on. I'm surprised you wasn't saying yes. But really? Really? Twerking at a slave dungeon. Just imagine if Jewish women were visiting Holocaust sites and they just started twerking for the ancestors. They just microwave. Yes, oy vey, yes, yes. Like, really? Hitler's a op, yes. See, people don't take you seriously because you don't take yourself seriously. You don't take yourself serious. And look, I don't agree with people generalizing groups of people based off individual actions. I'm not saying you need to straighten up and act right because you're representatives of the people, but this is the reality of the situation. People who don't interact with a certain group of people quite often, or they might see inaccurate depictions of a group of people through the media's lens, they will judge not only you, but they will judge the entire group of people. Just have some self-awareness. Can you do that? No. You some ratchet thotty oddies, some yimps. So you ain't got no self-respect for yourself. Leave that Atlanta, Miami shit in Atlanta and Miami. That's all I ask. Could you do that? Could you do that? These are the black women right here who got kicked out of the restaurant in Dallas because they couldn't act right. They just had to twerk. Oh, I'm policing bodies. Hey, you did it in a public space, so I have the right to voice my opinion. I have the right, because I know some of y'all, oh, let them have fun. This is the problem. Y'all have normalized degeneracy. You get mad when people look at you a certain way or they treat you a certain way based off your actions. But then you want to normalize degeneracy. You can't have that way. You can't be like Cartman. I do what I want. This is the problem. Y'all are the Maury kids. You know, when you watch Maury and they got bad kids and then they do the introduction and they say, I'm 13 years old and I go out. Yeah, I smoke blow pops. So what? I do what I want. That's y'all. But y'all in y'all 30s. Some of y'all in y'all 40s. Excusing this shit like it's okay. I get it. We shouldn't over-police, or we shouldn't police women's bodies in general. But come the hell on. Really? For the ancestors? You just want to use excuse to be ow. You just using that as an excuse. I keep it real. You can't help yourself. You've been a degenerate. And this is the best way you know how to communicate. I'm sorry. I apologize. You don't know any better. I apologize. They don't know any better. They're used to sexually exploiting themselves. Which the ironic thing is our ancestors were sexually exploited and dehumanized. And you felt this was the best way to honor them, is to sexually exploit yourself and dehumanize yourself. Okay. And you laughed about it too, so you knew it was disrespectful. You meant it as disrespect. Tariq, this is your FBA people. This is your FBA. This is your FBA coach right here. I know y'all calling them out, but this is y'all people right here. With that said, if you disagree, let me know. If you think I'm doing too much, if you think I'm being a damn conservative over here, let me know. If you agree, please let me know. And y'all go to war with the motherfuckers who disagree with me, because I'm tired of talking shit in the comments. All right? I'm just joking. I'm just saying something. Let me go ahead and get up out of here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, holla.